world's happening with King County real estate. Wow. All right, you ready? This is really going to be interesting. Ready? Okay, here we go. All right, so what you see here are the last 10 years. I wanted to get a macro, high level overview this time of what's happening in the market, because if you get your head down too much, you lose the context. So, what's important to keep in mind is whatever we're going to talk about happened last month in November, whatever it means for the future. You need to see this picture. So this is the supply and demand for the last 10 years. Green is the supply, blue is the demand. And you can see for most of the history here, the green has exceeded demand, and it's pretty seasonal. This is up in June, May, June, right? Peaks in the summer, dives in the winter, okay? And demand exceeds it, by a fairly consistent percent until we get right around the pandemic. And then right before the pandemic, everyone's like, I better get out of here. They start selling. And then all of a sudden the pandemic happens and the buyers increase greatly while the sellers decrease a little bit. And I only say a little bit because it's a relative term, because watch what happens when interest rates triple, sellers completely stop selling. All right, everything falls off the table. That's the last 2 years. All right, so this is 2023 when interest rates initially tripled. This is 2024, the time we live in, and it's when interest rates have started to come down a little bit. That's what you're seeing there is what I would call an unwinding of the market, meaning while people stop, if you have a 3% mortgage in your house, you would need some kind of life circumstance to happen to get you to sell and buy a 9% mortgage, an 8% mortgage. You just would. You wouldn't do it otherwise. And that kind of a situation tends to unwind over time because people die or their life circumstances change where they have to move and interest rates slowly come down. So interest rates have come down a little bit. Buyers have not really come back, though. You can really see that the buying demand in 2024 was fairly close to 2023, except at the end of 2024, the buyers are significantly more than they were in the end of 2023. And I'll show you that in a minute. But I want you to show you just how off it is from historical averages. All right, so we're going to talk about minor moves in a micro situation of the last year against the background of what's normal, like a history of normal. This is not it. Okay, we're half the volume of normal markets, anything pre-pandemic, and even during the pandemic, what changed during the pandemic was sellers started to go away. It was last year that sellers completely fell off the table along with buyers. All right. So against that background of that, we're about half of what normal is over the last 2 years. Let's look at this so you can see it. You can see that last month was, in fact, the last few months, see that little uptick in buyers? That never happens historically. And last month, that there were more buyers than listings in King County is completely unique. I mean, that didn't happen any of the other time, maybe during the pandemic a little bit. But certainly not for the last reasonable amount of time did buyers exceed inventory in a November. So what does this mean? Well, it means that we're in very unstable times, okay? If you find anyone who's going to talk to you about what's going to happen in 2025 more than 30 to 60 days out, you should label them a kook. And you might as well think they're pushing a shopping cart down the street, rambling about something. Seriously, if anyone is pretending to know anything about what's going to happen in the next year, in 2025, you should, in your head, you should picture them pushing a shopping cart down the street and raving, because there is no way anyone can honestly tell you what's going to happen in 2025. The new presidency is a wild card. It's meant to be a Molotov cocktail rolled into our current situation to blow everything up. That's the intention. That's what people wanted out of this. And if that's not what they wanted, no, nonetheless, that's potentially what they got. I don't even know that that's what they got, because this could be like the last time he was president, where nothing really particularly changes very much. We just don't know. We just have no idea. None. Politically, socially, economically, none. So take that off your plate. It's just not knowable. Okay. What we do know is, in the short term, if you're looking to sell, you should have an easier time to sell this Christmas time, this holiday season, than any other time. Why? Inventory is down considerably and buyers are up. I don't know what else you need. That's the best possible scenario. And if you're looking to buy, you should know you're going to have less to choose from, less negotiating power. And if you need to buy during this holiday, you're going to need to either move really quickly or come in with a really strong offer. That is exactly how it's going to be. Now, I would not venture to guess what's going to happen in the spring, other than to say there will be likely an increase in inventory consistent with seasonality. That is, more people tend to sell in the spring, and there's no particular evidence that what's normal isn't going to happen. One of the things that you do need to keep in mind is the only things you're going to hear on social media or the news or anything is things that are outrageous. Why? Because nobody gets airtime if what they say is things are going to be the same as they were. No one gets air, although that may be a radical thing to say these days, but no one gets airtime by saying incremental differences are going to happen. The only way anyone gets any airtime is by saying something wild is going to happen on one side or the other. And that's just a fact. There is an inverse proportion between the likelihood of something happening and the likelihood of you hearing about it. That is, the likelihood of you hearing about, if the likelihood of you hearing about it is high, it is unlikely to happen. It's not to say it won't happen, but it's just unlikely to happen. Why? Because things that are unlikely to happen get more airtime. There's no market mechanism in existence, and less today than there ever was, for predictions that don't turn out to be true. There's no mechanism to punish people who make the predictions that don't turn out to be true. And all the incentives are for people to make outrageous predictions. The likelihood of you hearing about something is inversely proportional to the likelihood of it happening. That's, just keep that. I know it's uncomfortable. We do all want to know the future. But Voltaire said, while uncertainty is an uncomfortable position, certainty is an absurd one. Stand there. It is, we just don't know. What we do know is the immediate, there's more buyers than sellers. So if you're looking to sell, let's get it to market. If you're looking to buy, let's get a plan together. That's it. That's what I got for you. Okay. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you have a great holiday season. I'll talk to you at the beginning of January. Have a great one. Let me know if you have any questions at all. Aaron Hendon from Christine Company and eXp Realty. Talk to you soon. Bye.